Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be playing with makeup in order to create this look right here. We're going to be using some old stuff, some new stuff, some stuff I've never used on camera before that I want to talk to you all about and show you all. I'm really excited. So let's get right into this video so that you can see exactly how I created this look. All right, so let's get this look started. As you can see, I am barefaced. I don't have anything on right now. Usually I fill in my brows before getting started just because it does take up quite a bit of time. But I did recently purchase this new product from Benefit. It is their brow styler, and it has saved me so much time, so much time. I really like it. It's a brow powder and a brow pencil duo. I grabbed mine in the shade 5 and I really love the shade. I love what it does. I love how fast it makes the brow process for me. So what I do with this guy, or what I've been doing with this guy, is you just take the powder side, or I start off with the powder side just because I like to kind of fill it in, shape it up a little bit, and then I go in with the pencil side in order to just define it. So that is what I've been doing, just taking the brow powder side and placing it down first. And you see how evenly it's like distributing the product? Okay, so now that I've kind of filled it and shaped it, I'm just gonna go back with the pencil side in order to define it and fill it in a little bit more. All right, you see that? Like, that was so easy. How easy is that? Like, oh my gosh. And then I just grab a spoolie and I just kind of brush through it in order to just kind of fluff out the brows a little bit. And then of course I take my clear brow gel. This one here is from Sigma, in order for the brows to just like stay in place. See, like, what a difference. And it doesn't take me long anymore at all. And usually I don't carve out my brows on a regular basis, but for today I do want to. So I'm gonna carve out my brows just a little bit along the bottom. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Shape Tape concealer. This one's in the shade medium, which is what I would use underneath my eyes anyway. Just grab a little bit of that with my flat definer brush from Sigma and carve out the brows just a little bit, just to clean up the bottom. Because you see right there how it's just like not clean. This just helps me clean it up just a little bit. And then I drag the concealer down. And this is a concealer that I use on my lids anyway in order to prep them before I'm applying eyeshadow. So it all works out. All right, so now that the brows are done, I usually have a little bit of concealer left over from what I used underneath, and I will grab that with my ring finger, not this one, in order to just place it on my lid, and that'll serve as like my primer for eyeshadows. And then I just go back with my beauty blender in order to just blend it all out, make sure it's nice and even, and it's only just like a nice thin layer. All right, and I'm gonna set that with a setting powder. I'm using my Fenty Pro filter because I realized that I have quite a few setting powders that I don't even look at because I stick with my RCMA No Color Loose powder. So I'm gonna try to use my other ones as well so that they don't go to waste. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this powder with my damp beauty blender in order to just set the concealer down. I find that I have an easier time blending out eyeshadows whenever I do set my concealer with a setting powder. When I don't, I just feel like they don't blend out as smoothly. So that's why I always set it. Okay, so now it is finally time to play with this beautiful palette. I'm not a huge fan of the exterior of this. However, look at that. That's good. I love the color selection. I'm having a hard time deciding exactly what direction I want to take this look in. But I think I'm mainly going to concentrate on this bottom row right here. I might also grab that one and I might grab that one, but I'm mainly gonna concentrate here. And I am gonna be using the brush that comes in the palette. I find that I actually really like these brushes, and I do find them very helpful. A lot of palettes that I purchase don't come with brushes, but the ones that do, a lot of the time, they're just kind of useless and I don't use them. But I find that the Anastasia ones I actually really like and I do use. So I'm gonna start off with, ooh, that's quite a bit of kick up. You see that? Just means like it just packs a lot of pigment. That's what I've noticed. This is kind of a common thing with Anastasia palettes. So I'm gonna grab Cindy, which is this coral shade right here. And I'm gonna place that along the crease. This is gonna be like my transition shade. All right, just dragging that back and forth. I had to go in a couple of times in order to get the color that I wanted on the lid. But this one so far, it's blending out beautifully. Okay, next I'm gonna grab chai, which I love chai. Chai is like my favorite drink. And I'm gonna place that right here along the crease, kind of combining both colors together. But I'm gonna keep this a little further down so it doesn't cover up Cindy completely. All right, next I'm actually gonna grab Bybel. So I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna place it along the crease as well. Okay, next I'm gonna grab Stev. I don't watch Carli Bybel, so I'm not really familiar. Like, I know of her, obviously, and I have seen her content in the past, but I'm not up to date, so I don't know what Stev is. I'm assuming that's something, sounds like a name perhaps. Anyway, I'm gonna grab Stev, and I'm gonna place it here along the outer V. Gonna try to combine it with the previous shades, and these are actually blending into one another really nicely. Sometimes eyeshadows can be pretty tricky depending on their formula, and where they won't blend or combine together to make like a new color. Sometimes they're very stubborn and they like to just stay separate, and you don't get like a nice blend. You get like a really obvious line of like where one color ends and where another one begins. Anastasia eyeshadows, I swear by. I've never purchased a palette of theirs that I did not love. Even the Subculture palette, although a lot of people found it very difficult to work with, I actually really like it and I still reach for it. All right, so I just added a little bit more to this outer corner here, and I'm dragging it in a little bit into the lid, into the mobile lid area. Okay, next I'm going to grab Boy. I think that's what it is, Boy, and I'm gonna place that on top of everything else. So let's keep going, shall we? I'm just trying to make this a little bit darker and a little bit darker and play with more color and more color and more eyeshadows. And I'm actually going to drag this in even a little bit further than the one previous to this. So far, Boy is the only one that I can see like it doesn't have as much of a pigment like kick as the other ones do. This one I am having to grab multiple layers of to get it to show up like this, whereas the other ones I don't feel like I had to do that. I can appreciate it though, since sometimes if you are like heavy-handed, this isn't gonna allow you to go like too heavy too soon. You can build it up, but if you're someone who just kind of likes a lot of pigment or a punch of pigment right away, that might be a little bit annoying. Now, if you ever find that you've gone a little bit too dark or a little bit too high, what I recommend, and this has the perfect shade for, is to use like a white or something really light, and that will help tone it down a ton. So it kind of even like helps erase a little bit. All right, next I'm gonna grab Aura with my finger. And I'm gonna take that and apply it to the inner half of my mobile lid area. Just patting it on. And then I'm gonna grab Moo. This one right here, it's like a more champagne-y shade. And I'm gonna pack that on here just along the center. Actually, you know what? I like the way it looks on top of Aura, so I'm gonna pat it on top. So instead of just the center, I just place it kind of all over. And then I'm gonna go back with my brush and just blend out the edges so that they're a lot softer. You see how over here I blended it out, it's a lot softer, so you don't see it like this. That's what that's for. All right, so now moving on to the face for a little bit, and then we'll come back and finish the eyes with the palette. So I'm gonna start off with a color corrector. This is the one that I'm gonna use for today. However, you know what? I'm actually gonna use this one. This is the Bobbi Brown corrector in the shade Peach. One of y'all recommended this to me in, I think it was my last video, and I was like, I've gotta try it. I've gotta try it because it wasn't the first time that someone had recommended it to me, and so I purchased it right away, and this is what it looks like. I like it. I like it. Let's compare it to the other shade, the one, my Becca corrector. Okay, so they're similar in color. However, as you can see, the Becca corrector just looks a little bit, I don't know, like creamier. And I don't know if creamier is necessarily the word, maybe oilier. Looks oilier than this one over here. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna try this one out for today. So I'm just gonna grab it with my finger. Trying to figure out what the texture is, like if it's similar in texture to my Becca one. Just pat it under the eyes. Ooh. This certainly takes care of the dark circle problem. Look at this. Let's do the other side. And it's so cute, it's so tiny. Let me use this mirror. All right, we'll see how it wears underneath the eyes. All right, so now that that's done, let's move on to foundation. I'm gonna use the Stay Naked Weightless Foundation from Urban Decay. I think I'm gonna purchase a separate shade though, because although this works out for now, I'm gonna lose color once the winter months are here, and I actually really like this foundation and I wanna continue to wear it. So I'm gonna need something a little bit lighter for those months. But for now, I'm using shade 51. Oh, this comes out? This comes out, guys. And I didn't know that. It comes out. I'm using the shade 51NN. That like surprised me, really surprised me. I really like this foundation because it does feel super, super lightweight. Even though it provides a lot of coverage throughout the entire day, it feels so lightweight. You don't even really feel like you have anything on your skin. It truly does live up to its name of the Stay Naked. It does feel like your skin is completely without anything on it. Okay, so moving on to concealer. This, I think, has taken the #1 spot. I still really like my Shape Tape, don't get me wrong. This one is still amazing, full coverage, and it comes in so many more shades. But this one, I really like it. I really, really like it. I find myself reaching for this one over this one a lot of the time. So if that says anything, I'm gonna take the wand out. Now the wand does pick up a lot of product, so I usually just kind of wipe a little bit of it off, and then whatever's left over, I use all over the under eye area. I mean, look at the pigment on that. That's crazy. So I know it looks like a lot. It looks like a lot, but it's not. I assure you it's not. It's a nice, thin layer of concealer underneath the eyes. As you saw, I like have to scrape off some of the product that it pulls out because I feel like that is too much. And whatever is left over, I just spread it out as much as I can, because even just a little bit of product will leave you with such like crazy amount of pigment that you don't need a whole lot. So even just a little bit, like, you see that? And you can't see through it. You can't see through it. I really like it. And it's not as drying as the Tarte Shape Tape. I wish that they would have come out with more shades to choose from, because even I had a hard time picking out a shade, but hopefully they do, because it is such a good concealer. It is such a good concealer. I really, really like it. So if you're looking for a more like moisturizing option, if you like the Shape Tape, but if you're looking for a moisturizing option and you can find a shade that's suitable for your under eye area, I recommend this one, the Boink Cakeless Concealer from Benefit. I'm currently using the shade 7. I find that that works for my under eye area. It doesn't look too deep. It doesn't look like too light. It's like just right, I think. So that's what I've been using. Okay, so now after I've waited for a little bit, I just go back and blend it out. And this beauty blender is damp. I always use them damp. Sometimes I get some of you asking whether or not I use it wet. And the answer is I always use my makeup sponges damp. Under eyes are almost done. I am gonna set this with a little bit of powder. I'm using my Fenty Pro Filter once again. Just grabbing that with my damp beauty blender, shaking off the excess and pouncing it on the skin. I absolutely love the way that this powder smells, by the way. It's just, it smells so good. All right, so now let's go back to the eyes and finish those. I am gonna be wearing false lashes today, and the ones that I have been grabbing the most are these right here. These are the Man Eater false lashes from Tarte. Like I said last time I wore them, which I think was during my last like get ready with me like makeup tutorial, is that they're just the right amount of like fluff and length, and they're really light on the eyes, so you don't feel like you're wearing really heavy false lashes. You hardly even notice them, honestly, which is why I really like them. They always just add a little extra to the eyes. All right, so before applying the false lashes, of course, I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara, and I'm using the Tarte Man Eater mascara. So I'm using the Man Eater false lashes along with the Man Eater mascara. And I really like this mascara on its own. Maybe I should just use it on its own. No, I already have glue on the lash. I've committed. I've gone too far. I've gotta do it. All right, now let's hold our breath and hopefully these go on the way that they're supposed to. All right, there it is. Now, because I did apply a false lash, I have to tight line, because when I don't tight line, you can certainly see, I don't know if you can see it from this distance, but up close, you can see the lash band, and I don't like that at all. I want to blend it into my eye as much as I can. So because I did apply false lashes, I am going to be tight lining, but the way that I do it is like super painless. A lot of people just stick their pencil, their like eyeliner pencil in their eye and just kind of run it back and forth. I can't do that, not only because I feel like I would like poke my eye for sure, but also because I wear contacts, and so my contacts won't allow me to just do that without writing all over it, you know? So what I usually do is I take my gel liner. This one is the Ink Gel Eyeliner from Pretty Vulgar. I love this. This is in the shade Blacklist, which is their deepest shade. And then I grab my wing liner brush. This one is the EO6 from Sigma. It's like super tiny. I love this for applying a winged line, but I also use this in order to tight line. And so I don't have to like tug at my eye or anything like that. What I do is, usually I do this before the lashes, but I completely forgot. So I'm gonna show you how I do it even after. So now that the lash is nice and glued on, it's just sitting nice and pretty. So I'm gonna grab some of that gel liner, and I'm just going to pat this. I'm holding the brush sideways, flat like this, and I'm just gonna pat that up on top. All right, and voila, you have a thicker lash line. Your lash band is nice and blended, or nice and disguised, so that you can't really see it. All right, so now that the lashes are on, let's move on to the rest of the eye. So I'm gonna use, this is like my favorite pencil to use along the waterline. This is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Sparkle Nude. It just, like I always say every time I use it, it just brightens up the eye, it widens the eye, and it just adds a little something extra. So I'm gonna use this along the waterline here. All right, and then I'm gonna grab a pencil brush. This one is the E30 from Sigma, and I'm gonna go back into the Carli palette, and I'm grabbing Chai, and I'm gonna pat that underneath the eye onto the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna grab Bybel, pat that on as well. And then I'm gonna grab Boy and blend that in to the other two. All right, so now that that is done, let's finish it off with some mascara along the lower lashes. All right, next, I'm actually gonna use this little duo. This is the Bronze and Glow from Natasha Denona. I really like it just to add a little bit of bronzing and just a little bit of a highlighter. This highlighter is actually pretty hard to work with, honestly. It's not like the butteriest highlighter I've ever used in my life, so I don't always use it for that reason, but I really want to use this gold with this eye look. I feel like it would look all right. It would look good. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the bronzing side with my Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush. I'll apply it here and then just work my way up. So I start here along the hollow and then just swirl it upward. Like that. And since this isn't like such a cool tone, this is a pretty warm bronzer, I'm gonna use it in order to apply like a little bit of blush. Or I'm gonna use it as a blush. I don't know, I've kind of been ditching blushes lately, and I've just been sticking to bronzers, kind of like as a 2-in-1. All right, now next I'm taking the glow side with my tapered highlighter. This one's from Sigma, the CE or the F35. I'm gonna apply it here. Just applying it to the high points of my cheeks. I think I'm gonna do a little bit down the bridge of my nose. And you know what else I wanna do with this? I'm gonna take a little bit of this and pop it here. All right, and last but not least, I don't know, I'm kind of debating on like what lip I should do. Should I do this lip? Should I do this lip? Maybe this one. We're gonna do this one. This one is the Becca lipstick. This one is in the shade Sorbet. And this other one that I really like is in the shade Dune. This one's a really pretty nude. Look at this. Oh, maybe I should just do that. So that or that. They're both pretty good. So here I'm just combining them. I like it. I like it. So that completes the look. I really like it. I really like the way that this eye look turned out. I'm glad I filmed it because I almost didn't. I almost played with the palette without me on camera. So I'm glad that I filmed it because I really love the way that it turned out. It's like a really beautiful plum pinky shade. I used as many eyeshadows as I could, as you all saw. Overall, I really like this palette and I am super glad that I purchased it because everything that I placed on my eyes, and you all saw I placed a lot, everything that I placed on my eyes just worked so beautifully together. They blended together really nicely. They blended very easily too, so you don't have to be a pro necessarily in order to get these eyeshadows to work well on the eyes for you and to blend well on the eyes, which I love. The easier, the better. There are so many different looks that you can create with just this one eyeshadow eyeshadow palette because of all the different shimmers that come with it. Like I can think of a different look for every single shimmer. Granted, today we used both of these and this is what it turned out looking like. Even that works out. You know, you can mix them and match them in order to create new shades, and I really love the fact that you are able to do that with these eyeshadows. The only issue that I guess I did have was that this one here, boy, it looks really dark on the pan, but once you apply it on the eyes, it's not as dark right away. That one is an eyeshadow that you do have to build up. Other than that though, everything worked great. I used a lot of these eyeshadows and you saw that they blended into one another so nicely. I love that fact. You can come up with so many different eyeshadow looks just with this one palette, and I will continue to use it. Anastasia, usually she never disappoints. Like she never disappoints me in any of the eyeshadow palettes that I have. I love them all. All right, so that completes it. That is all that I have to say. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this makeup tutorial and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you all. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.